Warning, the following video features nostalgia, excitement, giddiness, and a guy whose opinions about this game haven't changed in almost 20 years. There once was a man who felt so passionately about his favorite game that he had this to say.
Man, I just like Mega Man X. This is like my favorite game, so I'm just gonna gush right now, okay? I'm just gonna gush.
And I plan to do just that. When it comes to the Kingdom Hearts franchise, 2 has permanently established itself as not only my favorite, but maybe the best the whole series has to offer. Anywhere you go on the internet where people are ranking Kingdom Hearts games, 2 is always in the top 3, if not number 1, across the board. Even to this day, I still try to play through the game once or twice a year. I remember playing KH1 up to the first Traverse Town revisit after Deep Jungle, but from that point, just sort of watched my younger brother continue on because he was further in the story than I was, and I was just excited to see what happened next. I'm pretty sure if I look hard enough, I could find that old PS2 memory card and see the second save file only a couple hours in, while the first save file had accumulated easily over 100 hours of playtime. Kingdom Hearts 2 was the first real instance I had as a gamer where I wanted to be the one to progress the story. I wanted to play the game. I felt compelled to personally experience everything this game had to offer. I have no living memory of my brother being around while I played this game. My first time playing Kingdom Hearts 2 was so special to me that I'm pretty sure I have blocked out all other memories in my life from around that same time. The only memories I have left from around this time are tied to this game, which heavily consists of talking about it at school almost non-stop. There was a point where I said that Kingdom Hearts was my favorite video game series of all time, which was huge coming from me because I was always the Zelda kid. This video, and the ones to follow, will be a personal romp through my nostalgic memories of Kingdom Hearts 2. Now, this is not a review of the game, nor is it a summary. This is a love letter, a list, a happy rant, pointing out all my favorite things about this game. First things first, spoilers. I know it's a 20-year-old game, but some people still haven't played it. Second things second, Sanctuary beats Simple and Clean every day of the week, and I will throw hands with anyone who says otherwise. Thoroughly enjoying both that opening and the cutscenes to follow, which essentially serve to refresh everyone on the events of the first game as well as Chain of Memories, which I never played. So imagine 11 or 12-year-old me watching the opening AMV, yes, that's what this is, shut up, and just going, yeah, this is so cool. What am I looking at? I don't think I'll ever forget the confusion I felt when the camera panned onto Roxas for the first time. That's not Sora! I shouted, feeling utterly betrayed. Little did I know that my introduction to Roxas was exactly what solidified this game as my favorite Kingdom Hearts. After some expository plot and a brief controls tutorial, we get introduced to, is that Raijin and Fujin from Final Fantasy VIII? And Vivi from Final Fantasy IX? I didn't play much of Final Fantasies 8 or 9 to establish a meaningful connection with these characters, but just like Tidus Walken's Selphie's appearance in KH1, I knew enough to think that this was cool as hell. At the start of the second day, when the gang is trying to figure out how to spend their last few days of summer vacation, Hayner drops this nugget of wisdom on us.
What's important isn't how often we see each other, but how often we think about each other. Right?
Alright. Kingdom Hearts 2 hitting me in the adult feels completely unprovoked. So it's gonna be that kind of game, huh? We gather money so we can go to the beach before summer vacation ends. We meet up at the train station. Riku pushes Roxas down. Honestly, you're not even supposed to know it's him yet, but I did say spoilers, so here we are. And takes his money! And we don't even learn this until...
Wait. No.
Every time I leave the house, I do this. Every departure since 2006, I pat down all my pockets exactly like this to make sure I have all my important stuff on me. Every home departure for almost 20 years. Yes, this game is important to me. And the game has the audacity to let him stand there with the money pouch like, this is mine now. What the hell, Diz? If you didn't want to simulate the beach, then why allow them to go through all that trouble? Alright, it's fine. Let's move on. Day 3 starts, and we're supposed to try going to the beach again. Don't get my hopes up, game. But of course, while looking around for Hayner, we run into the disciplinary committee first, which then leads us to... Whoa. I know this place. The Station of Serenity. Reveling in the Kingdom Hearts 1 Redux I've suddenly found myself in, I quickly learned 2 things. 1. Abilities are way more common now, and heavily impact how different the gameplay is. And 2. The game is really expecting me to rely on these new reaction commands in battle, which was then, and is still, fine with me even now. I know a lot of people are torn on reaction commands because there isn't a whole lot of skill involved in pressing a second button in combat and watching the game be awesome for you instead of doing it yourself. But my 11-year-old brain didn't care because they made combat look infinitely cooler. My nearly 30-year-old brain still doesn't care. Oh, can we talk about this? The Twilight Thorn. This thing. Roxas's version of the dark side fight. Because this is why I love reaction commands so damn much. Look at this. You start the battle captured, and when the thing tries to swing on you, just a perfectly timed press of the triangle button lets you do... This lets the game be so much more cinematic, which is very clearly what the developers wanted to do in Kingdom Hearts 1, but just didn't know how to implement it yet. I mean... It makes sense that this game wants to play like a movie with its well-directed cutscenes, voice acting, fluid cinematic combat. It's made by Disney. And Square Enix, but Disney! The company that conquered the world with what? That's right, film! What is Kingdom Hearts 2 but a well-oiled and super polished interactive Disney movie? Okay, I'm back. Sorry, this part of the game just always hypes me up. It's so goddamn cool.
Cypher, strike a pose, you know?
How's this?
Oh, cool. We're back here now.
You know?
Day 4 is here, the day of the struggle tournament. The winner of the finals gets to hold the title of champions for a whole year, folks, and earns the opportunity to go up against the world champion... Are you freaking kidding me? Setzer's here? His 3D model looks awesome, and he's still an underhanded sleaze who needs to cheat to win. This is amazing! We make short work of Hayner right before Cypher and Vivi have their match. I love that Cypher's idle combat pose is carried over from Final Fantasy VIII. It's just a nice touch. So, here's something I discovered a couple years back that's cursed me forever, and now I'm going to share with you. Ready? There are 5 copies of the same guy stationed all around the ring. Now, the obvious excuse for this in the modern era is hardware limitations and reusing assets. But if you'll humor me for a second, let's get weird. My personal headcanon for this phenomena is that Diz has to abide by the hardware limitations of his computer and chose this guy specifically because Roxas is his #1 customer and to subconsciously put Roxas at ease so that he wouldn't question the computer simulation he's trapped in as it starts to unravel all around him. Or maybe the devs just didn't want to make more NPCs for this one 15-minute segment in a game that's well over 40 hours long if you do everything and watch every cutscene fully. That's an option too. We promised Hayner that we'd split the prize if either of us won, so seeing Roxas sharing the trophy gems is perfectly adorable, so much so that it hurts. And some? Well, I already said it was Riku. I'm not going to dance around it. This is one of those super convoluted things that the series is known for that doesn't get explained until way later. And even when it does, it feels more like a cop-out just so we could see the face of an old villain again. Trust me, I'll have a lot to say when we get to this point, so stick around. Summer vacation is running out as we make it to day 5. The gang search out the 7 wonders of Twilight Town. At this point, I'm starting to feel really bad for Roxas, getting more and more anxious and lonely even around his friends. Like, look at this. They don't even acknowledge that Roxas's gem is missing, and I'm sure Riku stole it just like the money pouch earlier just to piss us off. Roxas is starting to be more and more slighted, and I don't like it. Help your friend, guys! Jeez.
Rai's the one who counted.
No notes. I just really like this part. Here's another thing that bothers me about this part of the game. Roxas doesn't actually speak up about the weird stuff that's happening at each of the wonders. There's all sorts of weird stuff happening, and when Pence shows up, he's just like, oh, it's so obvious. And Roxas just drops it. Dude, you were assaulted by a dark reflection that came out of the waterfall fountain. Witnessed trans-dimensional balls shoot from the wall in the back alley. Not like it would matter. When Roxas witnessed Vivi perform the Shadow Clone Jutsu and swarm him from all sides, Pence shows up and is just like, so it was Vivi all along. And totally ignores Roxas when he tries to explain. I get it. Diz is trying to cover his tracks so that Roxas doesn't find out the truth too early. But when you have no frame of reference for what's going on, and you're an 11-year-old kid, this gets old really fast. There's nothing more terrifying and disheartening to a prepubescent child than neglect. Not being believed when you try to speak up, your thoughts and feelings being ignored just because you're a kid and don't know anything yet. I was really feeling for Roxas here. I hadn't known him for that long at this point, but I remember I wanted to be his friend, to offer him support where he needed it. I saw what he was going through. It sucked. And his friends were doing jack all to try and help him. I remember doing the wonders and freaking out when the TV would go to static after each one. What if that was happening to him? What if he was seeing the same things I was seeing? All of the wonders turn out to be a bust, and everybody's getting upset. There's still one left, the haunted old mansion, but everyone is discounting it before we even start. Roxas is trying to keep up the excitement, but the rest of the group is coming down on him. Don't get too excited, it's probably a fake like all the others. What the hell? Tone shift. Again, probably Diz's programming to dissuade us from even going. But still, these are supposed to be Roxas's friends, and he's being ostracized for being the hopeful one. By the end of the prologue, the Twilight Town gang appear almost like they're getting tired of Roxas being around. As someone who struggled my whole life with imposter syndrome and codependent relationships, this really hurts me on a deep emotional level. The very real fear that all of my friends are going to get sick of me and leave someday is a terrifying thought, and I'm watching it happen in real time. Roxas is supposed to be the player insert for the story so far. Roxas is meant to be us. While we are learning about what's going on now and what happened between Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, Roxas is the vehicle that gets us to the rest of the story. So, these aren't just his friends. They're my friends. Hayner, Pence, and Olette are supposed to be my friends. And I can feel them drifting away, and it makes me unbelievably depressed. Sorry, rant over. Back to the funnies, I promise. This part just gets really heavy, and I always feel the full weight of it every time I play through it again. Your favorite games are supposed to tug at your heartstrings, and this part always does.
Why did you show him the train?
Because he missed the trip to the beach.
Because he missed the trip to the beach, you asshole! We're in the final day of the prologue, and Roxas is getting pissed. To the rest of Twilight Town, he doesn't even exist anymore. Not like everybody's ignoring him, like, he's not there. Axel keeps hunting him down, Diz is constantly telling him what to do, it's overwhelming. We have no other options but to follow Diz's instructions heading into the mansion. After a less than satisfying conversation with Naminé about whether or not I have the right to exist, Roxas remembers who he really is. We get down into the computer room, and Roxas starts beating the shit out of everything to let out his newly obtained fury. I feel that. It's a shame Axel is waiting for us down there as well. I don't want to fight someone who's supposed to be my best friend, but we've been manipulated and forced into a corner that we have no choice but to fight our way out of. Neither one of us wants this, but we're in too deep to do anything else but go all in. sadness gone, child ADHD brain happy again, all the necessary buttons pressed. And the devs knew this too. They had to have. Only one thing is gonna have the emotional weight to pull us out of this depressive slump we've been sitting in for the last half hour now, and it's exactly this. It's almost like they were rewarding us for stomaching the heartbreak. Listen, kids, I know you're all sad, confused, and more than likely a little angry, so here you go. Let out all your frustrations with these bad boys. Getting to see the Oathkeeper in Oblivion again is just, it just makes me feel so good inside. And it makes the fight that we have with Axel so much better as a result. And with all this cinematic cutscene havery and all this ridiculous gameplay and all of these moves that we're not going to get to do for a long time, it feels good. This excitement, as amazing as it is, can't last. Following our duel with Axel, the very next room we walk through has these stasis pods that have Donald and Goofy inside them. If they're here, then he can't be too far. My time as Roxas wasn't that long, and when the time came to see him leave, I was sad. I was actually upset to open this last stasis chamber. I didn't want Roxas to leave. I had questions. I wanted to swing Oblivion and Oathkeeper around some more. I wanted to find and make amends with Axel. But I don't get to now because...
Looks like my summer vacation is over.
Thank you so much for indulging me. If you liked what you saw, please hit the like and subscribe buttons to become more awesome than you already are, and hit the bell icon so that you can keep up on videos I make as I release them. Now, if you liked this particular subject matter, don't worry. I'm going through the whole game, baby. The following episodes won't be as long as this one, but I plan to pick up where Roxas left us. So join me next time where the nostalgia continues as we continue to experience the magic of Kingdom Hearts 2, but now as the game's titular protagonist.